Bitcoin's now connected. It's more like institutional, and it's correlated with the S&P 500. It's really confusing as a sort of last 18-month type of person. People talk about these cycles and halvenings, but then is it not more influenced by macro as well, or more so?
Yeah. I mean, it does go by the, like 2017, and then before that 2000, I guess it was 2012. So like it seems like every 4 years we have a cycle, with Bitcoin, but it may not go up as high. It may not have have the high the lows, the same lows, but it seems to follow the same cycle. So
Well, the awkward truth is that a lot of factors impact it, not just one, right? The halvening is not the only thing. If you zoom in on one variable and try to make that your prediction, you're gonna have a hard time. And also, usually cycles in history rhymes, not repeats exactly in the same patterns, but it does rhyme. The halvening will definitely have a.
So how long we're gonna be in this cycle? Do you guys think? Like, what are your predictions for? I know when no one's, we'll be geniuses if we knew, but what are you guys thinking? How long would this bear market last?
1.5 years, maybe 2.
There's so much inflation. There's never been this much inflation in the history of this country. So that's definitely a factor to factor in.
It's horrible. It's a horrible thing.
Keep it. The U.S. is not the only country, and there have been countries that have had much worse inflation in history. If it was an isolated market, I would agree that would be one of the stances, but it's not. Bitcoin is exposed to a lot more than US dollar.
Yeah, but they printed more money in the last 2 years than ever in history, ever.
What you don't see though is probably in 10, 20 years down the road, it'll be yet again, more money than ever before that. And it'll make whatever this is look like a tiny amount.
Yeah, so when something has to make it stop, that's why they increase the interest rates to make the inflation stop.
Yep, those are them cycles.
Well, and that's the whole reason for crypto to try to start a different type of money. So we're in a transitional phase right now.
Do you know what? Just changing the subject slightly, I found on a personal level some of the general toxicity in like Twitter and crypto Twitter, and we can all say like, "I told you so," not your keys and all of that. But there's some new people in the various crypto banks and everything. And the approach I was going to take, yes, you can go on Twitter and hate on them as well and go, "Well, I told you so," not your keys. But I wish there was a bit more, less tribalism. I feel uneasy, and I think all hexagons are different. So some are very nice and sympathetic. I've seen quite a lot of hate towards, Mashinsky and all of these types of people. That they deserve it, but it's kind of when somebody's already down, and there's depositors who are like, we're taken in by it. I've been I'm not going to say my name on Twitter, but I've been a bit more sympathetic. I don't think it's good for anyone to sort of kick someone in the groin when they're already down. And if you've lost quite a lot of money on a on a centralized exchange, yeah, it's a lesson. But I certainly wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of some of the shit I've seen on Twitter and kicking people when they're down and pudding, and it's just horrible. But on the other hand,
Okay,
I can also see it as well that these awful crypto banks need to be held to account. But I'm just saying I don't like how people are feeling right now.
two things. Nobody gives a shit about Mashinsky. What people give a shit about is the people that he got wrecked, right? That's right. And that's why people are angry at him. Secondly, I wouldn't confuse Twitter with the real world that much, because Twitter is filled with trolls, and trolls are the ones that are getting traction. I mean, look at literally Richard right now, what he's doing, and well, or has been doing online. Like, you have to be outrageous to get views, clicks, etc. Do you have to be outrageous when you're having a personal conversation or an interview? Not so much. The same shows in Twitter Spaces. They're much more civilized compared to what you see in, the comments and so on. So don't conflate those two. It is very dangerous. I think people are using Twitter to get traction, and that's, I guess, good for them. Marketing free, right? You don't pay a fucking penny tweeting and getting 100,000 followers and likes, etc. That's free marketing right there. Some people pay millions of dollars for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true that the things you and I would say to each other in a bar would be completely different to Twitter, where it's anonymous. So I'm not buying into the hate and everything. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you have to take it a little bit with a grain of salt that people are, cheeky on Twitter on purpose, rile people up to get views, and it works. Unfortunately, I mean, this is human nature, man. If you have just positive, nice, rainbow things to say, you're not gonna get traction.
Yeah,
it's clickbait. It's all clickbait.
Yeah,
it's
you. This is probably the wrong analogy, but let's say, I don't know what country we're all in, but let's say I'm in America and my bank fails. Revolution isn't going to say to me on Twitter, look at you, RB, you're an idiot. That bank was, even though it's FDIC, whatever, that bank, everyone knew that bank was shit. You're an idiot. Your CEO's an idiot. And actually, lesson learned, you should have been. It's a similar thing. We can all play the mantra of have all your coins. This is right. I've learned this. Have all your coins in a wallet, and then take it off centralized. Don't lend out your Bitcoin and all of that. It's all true, but there's a lot of rich people have either been conned, and a lot of poor people have been conned. So it's just, I just think it's horrible what's happened, and I'm seeing people pulling together on Twitter. But what I'm seeing, and Toby, I agree, it's shit. You're seeing more negative on Twitter rather than people saying, "Oh, hey, bro, I'm sorry you've lost your money. Mashinsky's an idiot, but I'm sorry for you." I'm not seeing much sympathy for the depositor, and I think in the Hex community we have a shorter fuse because we're like, we wouldn't fall for that, and it's
You see a lot of I told you so. I told you not to do that. You're an idiot. You shouldn't have did that. But not everybody knew what we know. This community is different, but you gotta do what's good for you. You can't follow the masses.
If you're looking for sympathy and care, I suggest do not look for it online. You're not gonna get it there, guaranteed. So I've seconded, actually. I'm not going to waste any time feeling bad for anybody who's got themselves wrecked online. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know you. You probably got scammed, indeed. Or actually, I personally think it's not even that much malicious intent. Sure, there's lots of phishing and scams and whatever, but there's also just a wild amount of stupidity, honestly. If you look some of the big guys from 3 Hour Capital and Mashinsky and so on, they half the time they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They look it, but that's it.
Yeah, it's like BlockFi and all these different exchanges that they're just gambling with people's money.
Yeah, it's literally gambling. Like the only reason they're doing well in a bull market is because they're in some, they're in Bitcoin or whatever. And the moment things get a bit, woozy, they lose collateral, and it's all gone to shit.
They said,
It's like
they're
play
straight out
stupid games, win
attacking.
stupid prizes.
They're attacking all the stable coins on purpose. That's what somebody said, but I don't know if that's true. But it seems plausible that all the stable coins that were getting interest, all that interest is fake interest.
It's also possible, but I mean, there is a fair amount of scammy tactics, and although I would say even Hex had that, right? Like you can't deny that we're scammy tactics, even though what's behind it is solid. So how much can you say that that's not rampant in crypto? It is, but there's also just so much stupidity. Really, it's just so much misinformed decision making, even from founders. And they don't care because while you're making money, you don't need to care. And then when you don't, you start opening up the box and look inside and like, oh, actually, this is why that's happening, and I need to make better decisions. And this is what I love about it. Like I get off on bear markets. I'm sorry to say, like I'm a contrarian
When there's
because I know it's
blood in the
needed.
streets. Yeah, when there's blood in the
Not because I
streets.
want to profit off it. I mean, for sure I'm gonna buy, but I know that it's needed to correct the
That's
market, because that's when people
well,
start reflecting on the bullshit they've done in the past, and start realizing how little they've looked into an actual asset, and that's when they start informing themselves, which
well,
seems crazy to me because I do it when I invest in it, not when I get fucking
Yeah,
wrecked by it.
the truth
Toby,
is,
that's why I
the truth
said
is
earlier.
whenever you see blood in the streets, whenever you see people getting wrecked, that's when there's a few people becoming, millionaires and billionaires.
That's why I said earlier, Toby. It's exciting times. We're in a bear market.
Yeah, I love them. I mean, I hate them because look, there's so many sad stories. I don't want to see them, but
Oh,
what
yeah.
can I do,
Put
man?
that aside. The
Everyone
sad
makes
stories. I
decisions.
mean that. What I mean by how everyone is excited when there's a bull market, we should be excited. We should be that excited really in a bear market, because now it's a good time to buy. Instead of buying and FOMOing in at the top, we're buying when it's on a bear market, and we know that it's going to go back up eventually. We don't know how long it's going to take, but we know eventually it will.
Yeah.
It's like a sale. Everything is on sale.
And some of it will continue to exist, and some of it will cease to exist. But what I get off on is due diligence. Like I love people who spend their time and do their research and talk sense, and not just moon talk. Like, oh, this is gonna go 10K X next year. Like, I don't fucking care. What you can draw a chart on the wall every day if you want, but how much are you really looking into what it is that you're buying? How much is the founder really understanding the market that he is in? Well, it turns out some of the biggest funds don't know shit. All they're doing is accumulating more bigger bags of existing coins. What
There's
are they
only
doing
a
for
few
the
assets.
ecosystem? Nothing.
There's only a few assets that actually have value, like especially in on most of 90% of all crypto is gonna die. Like you look at the .com bubble or a lot of things that happened in the past. You see like there's a flood of shit products, and most of them are gonna die. That's just the truth.
I mean, look at the kind of, like, you need to look for founders or coins, doesn't matter, right? You don't need, you can be investing in people, you can be investing in technologies. Either way, look at those who are addressing a specific issue that exists and trying to find a very specific angle how to fix it. If that's not happening, then the project is most likely bust, or it's going to go bust by the time the bear market comes around. Like Uniswap was an easy one of those. Like they solved a very specific problem very well. They're going to be around after the bear market. Can you say that for any other coin where you don't even fucking understand the first thing about it? No.
Ethereum, Bitcoin, hopefully Pulse will be around. You know, that's what we're all hoping here.
Ethereum and Pulsechain will be very interesting to watch over the next years because I think both are great, and both are tackling the same or similar problem in two different ways. And we'll see which one plays out better, or maybe they both play out and they can just coexist happily ever after. But the main issue with Pulsechain is the only thing is the adoption. Like, how will it be adopted, if at all? Whereas with Ethereum, you don't have to worry about that part, but you have to worry about this massive ecosystem with millions of users and shifting it towards proof of stake. It's quite an undertaking, and there's a reason it's been postponed for many years. Not to mention that you need to convince the miners to screw themselves. Those are two very high, like very steep barriers to overcome.
Isn't the adoption going to take place because the gas fees are going to be so low on Pulsechain versus Ethereum in the next bull market?
Yes, but personally, I think it's first off because of the system state copies. Like everyone getting a copy, that'll be the incentive for the people to switch or additionally add in Pulsechain RPC settings and stuff as the first incentive. And they might stay for the low fees, but they'll come for the, dumping of even if it's just a few cents or fractions of a few cents of whatever it's worth on the Ethereum side. That'll happen, which is in the beginning there will be huge dumps and maybe even below sac price and all that. But in the long term, I hope these people will realize, oh, well, actually I can do exactly the same thing as on Ethereum for much lower, plus maybe some other projects that died on Ethereum because of high fees.
Yeah, like there's been other layer ones, like BNB, has cheap fees as well. So, even though there's a lot of shit coins in BNB, a lot of products that are not even, worth talking about, its adoption is just almost like a popularity contest of everybody. If everybody adopts based on, but there's so much momentum in Pulsechain. I think that it has a good chance.
It's
Yeah,
like making a cable
Toby said,
in
I'll just say one thing.
2025. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll add to what you said though. It's like Toby said. People will be coming on to claim their copied tokens to see if there's any value. Then if you say you might have more people that are on Ethereum percentage-wise who have RPC settings for Pulsechain on their MetaMask versus people who are have the RPC settings for Binance. So you might find that their RPC settings are already done. They've come, they try to claim their free copies, they took out whatever they want, but it's going to be easier for them for next time they hear a project on Pulsechain. They'll be like, well, fuck, I've already got the RPC settings done. I'll just jump on. I know it's not a hard thing to do, but the percentage-wise of people that are on Ethereum that came to look to claim any free tokens, you might have a high rate, and that high rate might have a good adoption in the future. Might not be straight away, but over time, you'll see it.
But a lot of people feel jaded about this whole copy thing. It's just like it's been going on for so long. Oh, you're getting a copy, you're gonna get this, but it's not really a real asset until you actually have it, and it's not benefiting you. There's a lot of traders, people who trade, people who just based on what what they actually get, you know, not just the hope of getting a worthless RPC setting in their wallet that doesn't even like 2% of what the worth of it is on the Ethereum side.
I was going to say,
understand it doesn't have any value. That's what I'm saying.
the analogy I was going to use, it's like you create a new cable in 2025 for phones, and it's the fastest lightning speed charging cable ever, but it's not compatible with anything on the market. Like, you just bring out your own phone. How likely is adoption there versus creating a cable that just fits with the phone that is most adopted by everyone already? That's pretty much, I mean, it's not the great analogy, but it comes closer to it. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm just sick of always saying, you know, because you've been waiting for Pulsechain for so long, just saying, oh, you're going to get this copy. You're going to get a copy of HEX. You're going to get a copy of all your, you know, what is your worth going to be on this side? Yeah, I think it will have adoption, but I don't think I think it's going to be basically, if you feel, you know, your RPC settings are already there, you might use it, but I don't feel it's like the assets are going to be that, you know, astronomical that it's going to bring you so much wealth by having this copy. It's going to be an almost worthless copy on the Pulsechain side.
Yes, but it's enough for people to actively make the move and add the RPC. I mean, it's adding RPC settings nowadays is not a biggie. It's just clicking a button. So it's really just as easy as that now, if you have a MetaMask or
yeah,
something.
we already have that with BNB. I mean, you can do that. You can change your.
I mean,
RPC
if clicking a
settings
button takes me to a free $150, I'll do it. I mean, why the fuck not? It's not much, but I'll do it.
No, but there was so much expectations in the beginning. Like, you're gonna get all this free stuff. Like, not really that much.
It is free. I mean, I don't know what you want, man. Like, when people say free, they don't mean you're gonna be a millionaire. They mean you're getting something for free, and it's always a fraction of whatever you already own, anyways. It's not like, do you know what I mean? This is a bit weird.
I understand, but it was just like, I understand what you're saying. Like, free is free, free is good, but it's still not like what the expectation was before. It's totally different now. Before, the expectation was like, you know, especially people that were in early, we're gonna get so much more than what we're getting, but it's not that level anymore.
I think the expectation was primarily from people who sacrificed and also hexicans, because, you know, if they can get a free copy on Pulse of their hex, I do think there is not the same value, but a significant value to be found there. And obviously with sacrifice, you can get quite a bit of it, even though the price might dump below it for a bit there. But over the longer term, I think you can get quite a good return on it.
You know, there's all the people that sacrificed. When did they sacrifice? In July of last year, or was it July?
Yes, well, May, April. Oh wait, for Pulsechain.
For Pulsechain, yeah.
I think April. I don't know.
Well, so it's been over a year. So they've been waiting over a year.
Does that sound long to you? Let's talk about this.
No, listen, I'm not being a pessimist. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just telling you, there's a lot. I'm not speaking just for myself. There's a lot of people that, you know, that are not, you know,
I understand. But what you're basically saying is people are impatient. This is nothing new that I've heard. Like, I mean, we've seen every day people coming in like, when launch. I'm like, yeah, well, I'll tell you when. And
they stopped that already. The when launch is like not even a question anymore. Like, people are just tired of asking that question. I don't know.
People are impatient. That's not something we can fix. All right, but you have to put things into context.
If you waited for like
5 years ago.
you're waiting for your Pulse bag, like you're waiting for your Pulse to launch to get your no expectation, but then it launches and it goes under what you sacrificed for. I mean, that's kind of like a long. I mean, people are impatient, but they should have some type of expectation if they waited that long, right? No.
Revolution.
No,
I know
no, no,
some
no, no,
people
no,
are
no,
saying
no.
that the price
Absolutely
is going to go
disagree.
down or
And
whatever.
I absolutely
But I just want
disagree.
to
And
add this.
secondly, you have to look at time frames. You're saying it'll be down, yes, for a couple days, weeks, maybe even months. But are you saying the moment it
Why
reaches
would I
what
lock up my
0.1
money?
cent
Why would I
above?
lock up my money for a whole year? I locked up my money for a whole year of, that's potential. I could have put that in something else, right? I locked it up in Pulsechain, and then I'm not saying it's going to happen, but then it launches and it goes under what I sacrificed for.
Yeah, but you don't have a guarantee that you're gonna get it cheaper for SEC. Like there will be a moment. I suspect. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I'm pretty sure about it because I've seen markets how they operate, and I suspect that it will go briefly below SEC price because the downward pressure in the beginning of people dumping free stuff will be so high.
I think
But
that's
that's
gonna
not a guarantee for
more
you
so
to get
happen
but
that
with
deal
Toby,
PulseX.
because it's
I think
it's a lot
I
of
think that
risk
more
for
so
you.
happen with PulseX than Pulse. I think Pulse will
Toby,
be above SEC. I think
Maybe
PulseX might go under.
Toby,
possibly,
keep
yeah,
in
because
mind that
there's a
they're
lot
going to
more
be
people who do.
using their pulse. They're going to be using the ERC20 to buy that pulse and then sell it. Right? There's not going to be much. Oh, I don't think there's going to be much in the pool. I know there's been rumors there's going to be 5% of the supply, but I think they're going to work out that's too much and it's a joke. There won't be much in the pools. Number two, PulseX's sacrifice shows how many people missed out on Pulse. So to see anything even close to sacrifice prices, I think is almost impossible. If anyone wants to sell, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be people willing to buy very instantly because
Exactly.
of the
So it should be a
PulseX
non-issue.
sacrifice. Yeah,
So
so
for Pulse,
PulseX sacrifice
you're
is
talking about
proof.
for PulseX or for
The
Pulse?
for Pulse. The PulseX sacrifice is proof how many people missed out on Pulse, how many people want Pulse, and the demand for it. If anything, people who are holding Pulse should look at it as gold.
Yeah.
People who have missed
So
out
Yeah, but I
should be
don't think it's
looking at
gonna
it as
go
they
under
want to
it
buy
shouldn't
gold.
go under the SAC price. It
No,
shouldn't.
I should
that's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying. I know there's
I
people
should
saying that now
reframe.
recently.
I should
Yeah, go for it, Toby.
rephrase. We should look at it from a cost basis standpoint rather than a temporary dip below SAC price doesn't really matter. Like you can't prevent a couple of people from getting a slightly discounted from SAC price pulse. All right, let's just
A couple people, okay, I got that, but not a massive dip under, like where everybody's getting it for under SAC price. That's what I'm talking about. There was all this buy pressure. Like they were saying, there's going to be all this buy pressure on Pulse, and it's going to go to levels. I remember Rockham Rochelle coming on here and saying, "Oh, it's going to be so crazy. It's going to be, 100x right off the bat." So now all of a sudden everybody's so depressed and everybody's so down. It's not going to happen anymore.
fucking weird. Keep getting disconnected.
You guys still there?
I was saying, yeah, I think there's either problems with Telegram or me personally, but I was saying that the overall cost basis probably won't be affected that much. Like there will be some dips and some people will get some discounts. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that.
Well, I hope I'm one of those people, man. That would be nice because I don't honestly. I mean, honestly speaking, I don't have any Pulse. I came more in the Pulse X. I have a tiny bit of Pulse, like from doing little things here and there, but I don't know. I'm just worried about that PulseX bag, because everybody's gonna be trying to swap it for Pulse.
Short term, definitely. Long term, we'll see.
I mean, it is the DEX for Pulse, so it's gonna have volume. Hopefully, it's gonna have volume no matter what. Even if it has a lot of sell pressure, it's still gonna have volume. And it has that buy and burn feature. So I don't know how much that's gonna help the price. The buy and burn is gonna probably take a longer time to play out.
Over
Like maybe a year. Huh?
and per trend burn will not really show itself until maybe 5 to 10 years, right? So, well, it also depends on the volume of transactions, blah blah blah. But
So if you say you had like a theoretical 10 grand of PulseX and you see it launch and you're down to 5 grand of PulseX, well, how long would you keep it before, like, are you having a 5-year plan, a 2-year plan? Or you see it go up, like launched 50% of what the value was that you sacked, and then it goes up to like 10x. Are you happy with that 10x?
me personally, I mean, I basically cut my well, dedicated my sacrifices as a loss, sort of. I mean, it's not how I did it in terms of text, but yeah. I don't know. I think I'm gonna hold on to, obviously, to the Pulse that I sacrificed. With PulseX, I'm not entirely sure. I do think that it's more of a long-term play for me. So 2 to 3 years, around about minimum.
Hey, Toby, where did you get in at that you feel like PulseX is a loss? Are you a original sacrificer, or are you up there? Because I know it went up to 10x for some people with the volume multiplier. Some people literally paid 25 times what original sacrificers paid. Where do you fall in that?
Wait, what? Who paid
There was only a
25 times?
2.5x. There was only a 2.5x, not a 25x. A 2.2.
No, you have to understand. You can go, depending on when you bought. Like if you bought at the end of the sacrifice phase, it goes up to 10x, and then with the volume multiplier.
No.
As in, I was 10.
Think about it for a moment before you say no. Who's saying?
I'm talking about day one sacrifices. I'm not talking about like anybody after that.
1 to, what was it, 15 days? I don't remember how long the first couple of
I'm
days
just
with no rate hike.
PulseX had 30 days or 42 days or whatever.
Right, on PulseX it was different than Pulsechain. PulseX had up to the 5% was compounded. All this stuff I just realized myself recently, and I was a little bit flabbergasted because somebody that gets in, like, say, a month after, the first 5 days, they're actually getting in at that point around 4.5x times, 4.5 times what the original sacrificers had gotten. Now, let's say someone put in 100 grand on day one. By the time they get their volume bonus, they would be in around 60 cents per 10,000 tokens. That's not the same story for somebody who got in, let's say, at the very end of the sacrifice. Even Richard, he didn't say it a lot, but he was quoted as saying that's a 10x out point. Then when you add back in the volume multiplier, just like the guy who got his volume multiplier at 100,000 originally would be at 60 cents now for every 10,000 tokens. That last guy would be at 10x, and then times the multiplier, he would be away from the original guy. You could take 60 cents and put it into his 25 cents. How much this guy who got a 60 cents, and the one who got it at the very last with his volume multiplier. So even though the score, the actual, go ahead.
Sorry, my bad. I was just going to say the majority of the people who sacrificed in the beginning, the latecomers, there wasn't that much compared to the main sacrifices. So most people got in the first 5 days.
Right, I've seen that too. And then for Toby, the way you're talking, are you under, like, do you feel the way you feel as an original sacrificer in the first 5 days?
How do I feel? I don't remember how I feel.
Well, you were saying that PulseX is not exactly, it could go less. You feel like you're kind of writing your bag off in that way. And like, I mean, these are all things I heard you say, but I'm wondering if you bought in the first 5 days and you feel like that, or if you bought in as somebody who is 25x'd out compared to the originals, then I can understand why you feel that way. You know, I'm just trying to see where you rank in that.
Oh, I'm first 5 days on both projects. Like first couple of days, I think with Pulse, I did another second sac after the, what was it, day 25, where there was a static multiplier, but that wasn't significant. So for both of them, I'm early, but I was only talking about PulseX being slightly more of a 2 to 3 year thing. Like I'm not going to touch it that much in the beginning. I think. I don't know.
Right, I understand. And I think that's important. Yeah, that makes sense. Imagine if you were one of the people there that were, you know, you're in a good position compared to some people that I know personally who are in that position where they have paid, you know, 10 times what you paid initially. And it was set up like that, which was different from the original one with regular Pulse. And I think most people, even on here that talk, are not aware that in the sacrifice process, it was quite possible, depending on if you got in late or if you're onboarding some new person who didn't know the difference. They were told they were going to get 10,000x and ended up in a situation where they're 25x out already from the original sacrificers. And, you know, that bothers me a bit.
Ambiguity about that, though. It was very, very, very clearly advertised. The bonding curve was on page 1.
Yep.
Of the full.
I agree.
Right. How many people here, though, are aware of what I'm even saying, though? Because some people seem like they weren't too aware that they could be 25x off the originals.
I think it was just like Toby was saying. Yeah, the bonding curve was right there. It was very well publicized.
I mean, I don't know, of course, like maybe people weren't aware, but I would stay away from making it sound like it's been, you know, hidden information. Like it was literally the thing when you went to pulsex.info and pulsex.com, you know, how the rate increases work. Every day is the worst day to sacrifice. Like that's the thing, like it's supposed to be an adoption amplifier, sort of, like kind of like with Hex in the beginning. If the moment you find out is the best time to buy, if you wait another day or two, it's going to get shittier every time. And if you just so happen to find out about it on day 15, it sucks. You can't turn back time and make yourself know about it before. It's just not going to happen. So you just got to go.
You're still better off, though. You're still better off than people who didn't sack, right? That's supposed to be the.
Well, the argument here is that the price might dip below sacrifice price, which, by the way, that how do we even define that? Because, you know, everyone paid a slightly different price, which is why I think we should talk about average cost basis, maybe, which is the thing we'll have to see. Actually, I don't know how to calculate that right now. It will be very interesting to see.
3 zeros in a 1. Was it 3 zeros in a 1? Is that like 10,000x works out to be 3 zeros in a 1?
I don't know if that's the average cost basis. We'd have to look at literally all the wallets, all the sacks. I mean, it's a lot of work. I don't know. Maybe somebody's already done that.
I know ProFX has like charts and charts and charts of what people paid, you know, and what this thing has been. People have scrutinized it to like the 29th degree, you know.
Well, if somebody finds a chart or a table like that, then I'd be very interested, because I'm very interested in finding out the true average cost basis.
Look at Look at Profex's bio. He has like a whole bunch of charts in there.
Cool.
Were you guys like one of the original ones from Hex?
Not me. I wish. Wish I was a whale and I was scraping interest every 30 days.
I'm not a whale, but I.
Back to the sacrifice thing, though, I've heard some people holding Pulse saying they still think it's going to be 17 to 25x at launch. But with the sacrifice thing changing from $1 to $9, I think whether or not you're better off from sacrifice to launch would be, you know, how much does it X? And did you buy at an X much higher than that at launch during the sacrifice? So I would hope that you couldn't buy at a lower X than launch during sacrifice.
Yeah, first come, first serve. That's like most things.
Hello, 1804. Sorry I couldn't acknowledge you last night. I'm tied up.
No problem, Mr. Jigs. You in Florida or where you at?
I'm up in Massachusetts, Massachusetts.
You're up with the mass holes? Okay. I'm kidding. I went to school up in Massachusetts. You
No,
know,
you got
Hey, I got an off subject question, if y'all don't mind.
so Barry's up there, Mr. Jigs. He's up in Massachusetts too. Go ahead though with the question.
So I'm sure a lot of you guys might know Papa Boner. Do you guys remember he used to share like this? So he's like a tech guy or a cybersecurity guy. Something, I don't know. I could be way off, but he's got like a list of computer brands that don't have like the hardware has like less tracking tech in it. Like you said, a lot of Chinese brands have the tracking tech. Would anyone happen to have that list or know what those brands are?
I think he used to talk about HP a lot.
He likes HP. HP. Get that? He says the cheapest one and you're all set.
You're positive, Mr. Jigs, that Papa's favorite is HP?
One of his favorites, but that's what I bought because he told me buy an HP and that's what I bought.
Okay, thank you. That's a good answer for me. I'm on Newegg right now looking for a new laptop. I have a laptop that was real cheap, and fortunately it's a HP, and I put Linux on it, and I strictly use this laptop for my hardware wallet and DeFi stuff. I use it for nothing else, but I'd like to get another laptop to take care of some other things. But I'd rather support the brands that don't do that, you know, stuff I mentioned. I'd rather support the brands that have better privacy. Not that I really need it on this laptop that I'm getting.
So when you put Linux on your laptop, where did you download the Linux? Like off their site? What version of Linux do you have?
Okay, so right now, so let me start off like this. So at first, I got this laptop, and I had my buddy who knows a bit more about computers than I do. I told him I wanted to put Linux on here. I want the most private, most secure version of Linux. He goes, well, that would be Groovy Gorilla. So he put Groovy Gorilla on here, and my hardware wallet worked fine on it. Well, then I connected it to the internet, and it said, this version is old, it needs to be updated, and I updated it, and it turned into like the Groovy Hippo or something. I don't know. It was something Hippo, and that was like the newest version of the most private Linux. And then my hardware wallet stopped working, and I kept trying to figure it out and troubleshoot, and it just wasn't working. So now I have Linux Mint, and I got it straight from the website.
How do you like Linux as opposed to Windows? Is it more? You got to know the UI a lot better, or is it pretty user friendly?
So Linux Mint is the closest thing to Windows that you can get with Linux. But yeah, there's some things you need to be tech savvy about. And I really don't know too much because I rarely ever use my Linux laptop because it's just for my hardware wallets and DeFi exchanges. So I'm rarely ever on it. But I like supporting things that give me privacy and are more decentralized, and Linux is one of those things. And if I'm wrong, anybody can correct me, please. But on my main gaming computer, I don't really game much, but I have like a nice gaming PC. I just do everything on. I have Windows on it, and I think about switching it to Linux Mint or having it to where it has both. I could use Windows or Linux Mint on the computer. I think about doing that, and at the same time, it's, you know, I don't know what I would use Linux for on my nice, powerful PC.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a home server where I have a virtual PCs running where I can run any versions I want.
But yeah, I'm just on Newegg right now. I just want to get a laptop so I have something mobile to do some reading and pull up some videos and be able to take notes. I do a lot of chemistry work. I do a lot of brewing. I'm about to go legal and get my license to distribute alcohol. I got a mushroom farm. I sell to kitchens, so it'll be nice to have a laptop where I could take notes and keep track of everything.
That's cool, man. You're gonna make way more than we do in crypto with that stuff. And there are gonna be a lot of people
Leveraging your
want.
skills will always yield more revenue for you than
Yeah,
investments.
there's gonna be a lot of people trying to soak their wounds in some type of alcohol or mushroom or CBD. Those industries are going to be booming in a bear market.
Well, just to be clear, I grow gourmet mushrooms, not magic mushrooms.
Should have
So
clarified.
they're like just like tasty mushrooms.
Yeah, they just taste good and have nutritional value. They don't make you hallucinate or anything. I do grow lion's mane mushrooms, and sometimes I sell them raw for people to cook and eat, or I make tinctures out of them because lion's mane has been shown to regrow neurons in the brain, and it's really good for Alzheimer's and epilepsy. So I sell those as a tincture, and that's a legal medicinal medicine I can sell.
Shit, I learn something new every day on here.
Do you is that different from making truffles? Is like truffles you got to go find them in the wild, or can you make truffles?
You can grow truffles, but you have to know what you're doing. I have never done it before. But no, I just take lion's mane mushrooms, whether I grew them or they're in the wild, and I mix them in an alcohol solution, and then I dilute it with water, and it's a lot of measuring and stuff. You want to make sure the alcohol levels at a certain point, and then it's just a little tincture. You fill up a dropper of it, and you take it about 3 times a day, and it improves your brain and gives you memory and regrows neurons in the brain. Does anybody else notice this Muhammad guy? He keeps signing in and out of the chat. Like he's popped up like 15 different times. I don't know if he can hear us. I don't know if he's having trouble with something or what. See, yeah, it keeps popping up on my phone. He just keeps signing in and out.
Maybe he has a bad connection.
Yeah, there seems to be connection issues with Telegram at the moment, at least for me. So I looked at PulseX's bio. Thanks, by the way. I see the average dollar per PLSX is like 0.000058, like 4 zeros is 58. Is that still accurate? Oh, PulseX, you're here.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Speaking of the man,
There you go. The devil.
4 zeros and a 5-8. That seems
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the average cost basis of PLSX.
yeah. I mean, last I thought it was pretty close to the 4 zeros and a 1. But I don't know. I haven't looked at that sheet in a while.
we were here talking about the sacrifice price versus the launch price, and if there's going to be a dip, and people were just chiming in about when you actually sacrificed as opposed to the original sacrifice price.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Which is
whole
why
range, right? I mean, so the best rate is going to be, is it, or no, is it, what is the regular rate? What's the one on over 10,000? 1 over 10,000 is just 3 zeros and a 1, is it not? Or is it 4 zeros and a 1?
3.
I thought it was 3 zeros and a 1. Like that's what I've been hearing for a long time. But you would know way better than me.
Pretty sure 3 zeros and a 1, yeah.
yeah, 3 zeros are 147 something.
Yeah. Okay. So the best rate that you can possibly have is 4 zeros and a 4 then, right? So Rackham is going to get that with his top wallet, right, for his first coin, and then it goes down from there. Or I should say the price goes up from there, I guess. But yeah, I mean, everyone's got a different rate, all the way from 4 zeros and a 4, and then God knows what it ended at, what the last person paid for it, but it wasn't great. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, if you sacrificed on like the last day, you got a multiplier, right? But that didn't really help you as opposed to somebody who sacrificed on the first day.
Oh, there's people who sacrificed April, I think, who didn't get a multiplier. They just got the bonding curve going against them. And none of my file, right? I mean, take my file with a little bit of caution because I never updated the numbers. I basically stopped it like a month into the sacrifice because I couldn't get the data into Google Sheets.
I thought it was after sacrifice. Okay.
No, like if you look at
majority of the sacrifices were in that first month. There wasn't so much more coming after that, so I would still use it to like gauge the average price. But yeah, good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, I really should. At some point, I really should have went and grabbed the numbers, because I do have the numbers now for the based on the sacrifices, right? Since we've been working on, or since they've been working on the sacrifices for the sacrifice checker, I have a file somewhere. I don't know, from what date it is, but I do have a file with like all the sacrifices. So I should be able to put that in and get a better, some better metrics on it. But like you said, I didn't care that much. I was missing like maybe 100 million, I think, from like the regular people who sacrificed, not including the OA. And I figured that that 10% wasn't going to make that much of a difference. So it would have been fine.
Hey,
Assuming majority of people didn't get that. Well, let's not talk about majority of people, but I guess majority of people got that 0.4 cost basis. It dips below that. We can safely say that that's below sacrifice, sort of, for majority of folks.
Yeah, I gotta. I mean, I don't know. I missed the first. Sounds like 2 hours of the stream last night, or the Twitter Spaces with Richard last night. I probably should have gotten in line and asked him some questions, but I just listened to it. But yeah, there's some questions I probably should have asked him about the fixer.
Yeah, are there any problems with the code still, or they sorted it all out?
He's still waiting on the code, so I'll actually forward the clip of it in a second here.
Yeah, he was asked directly, "Are you timing the market or waiting on the code?" And he says, "I'm not timing the market. No." And that was KG that specifically asked that question.
Well, he's not timing the market, but it's working out like that, though.
Put the clip in the.
Well,
put the clip in the
correct.
chat.
He said it is positive. It's comfortable and nice that it's working like this. It couldn't be a worse time. It couldn't be a better time to have a delay in terms of waiting for the code, is what he said.
It's very convenient.
He said no, man.
Well, so if the code is ready tomorrow, it will launch.
That's what he said. Yes.
But did he go into any specifics about the code, like what they were working on? As I know, they were changing over to a different system, right? Like they were on some different system they were upgrading.
That's very vague.
In the chat, it's about 3 minutes long. You can listen to it yourself.
Yeah, listen to the first one, which is an hour long, where he covers it for the first time, and the second longer chat where he does, it's like the 4-hour chat. He goes more in depth, and that's where KG puts a question to him. He answers it with in no uncertain terms, exactly what you want to know. Just listen to it from him.
Papa, did you like the stream? Did you like him getting on and talking?
Yeah, man, I thought it was great. It's if nothing else, it's great to hear Richard just talking, answering questions, being in the thick of it, here with everybody's feeling like, oh, we're not in this alone. We don't have silence to keep us occupied. There's no bickering or misinterpretations of what's going on. There he is. And we got like a overload of it today, right, Profex? I mean, this was like 5 hours worth of content today.
Yeah, I only caught the last 3 or so, I think it was. But yeah, it was some of it was very interesting. Some of it was like, do we really need to go over why Bitcoin sucks tangent? Like, why?
Yeah, tangent thing was just clout chasing stupidity. But look, at least he got to do his thing, and Richard didn't say no. So he got out of his system. He lost a debate against Richard Hart, which he wasn't even going to win in the beginning. But at least he got his feeling that he's got maybe at best he's got his chops honed, and then he's very least he didn't embarrass himself. And a few people thought that it was about the best debate for Bitcoin put together over time from a Hexagon point of view that could ever be done. I think that Richard commended him on being good at it too. So thank you for wasting our time, yes, but again, it came from the community. There's a few people that were campaigning for Tenji to get his day in the sun, and he got it. So fuck it.
Who was the interview? Tension?
It's part of the second audio tacked on the end.
Right. Yeah, I just didn't catch the guy's name.
Tangent, he's Australian. He's part of the morning show for the
Yeah,
Discourse
rings a bell.
Syndicate.
Does he go on about Bitcoin on the show a lot or no?
He just keeps talking shit about I can debate Richard, only I can debate Richard, blah blah blah, and that was his big time. And I think that it's kind of he half-assed it because he's not really a Bitcoin maxi. Obviously, he's a Hexagon.
feel that guy wanted attention more than anything else.
Of course, look, make no mistake. He said that too. For months, he's been saying, "I want to get in front of Richard. I see all these other plebs not doing a good job. I can do it. Give me the shot. Give me the shot." And it started out kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, and then he got his chance to do it, and I congratulate him for doing it. But I don't want to see it happen again.
With that kind of
True.
energy, I think he could do
You
a
got to
lot
fight
of
for the front.
marketing. If you like attention, you can put your skills to good use. You'll become an influencer, promote Pulsechain, etc.
But he is one of our influencers. He does 2 shows a week for like the last 2 years. So he's done his part. Yeah. He's a big community member. He works a lot. Plus, he's been on a lot of panels and he's done the meetups, and he contributes his time to doing spots with the Australian crew. He pops up every once in a while on top of everything. So I got a lot of respect for him. He puts in his time. He did a lot of the charting too. He did the early TA stuff from an Australian team. He's been on Crypto Sparbook a few times. I mean, he's all over the place, and yeah, he's just a kooky character, but he got his time in the sun, and again, he's got it out of his system, and now we don't have to worry about it again.
Hey, if I could chime in and ask an off-topic question. Papa, I messaged you about 30 minutes ago. I was you had like a list of computer brands that don't have like tracking tech in it, like you say. I think you said a lot of Chinese brand computers have a lot of like I don't know if malware is the right word, but can you send me that list or tell me what they are?
Yeah, I'd like you to watch the Wake Up Hex show episode 125 on the Discourse Syndicate Network on YouTube. We go over it ad nauseum. 1 hour of whittling it down to price points and everything we like and don't like. So, Wake Up Hex show on Discourse Syndicate's channel, and the episode on the thumbnail is 125.
Hey, could someone put that Twitter Spaces in the chat?
It's on Richard's Twitter.
Okay, thanks.
Both of them are posted there. The 1 hour one and the 4 hour plus one. Although Richard did say he needed a copy of the first one that was local because they were going to take it down. And they may have taken it down already, but it'll be back up shortly. It's only an hour. The big meat and potatoes, I think, was the second one, which is over 4 hours long.
I think with the Twitter Spaces, they was it on Twitter Spaces the first half? Because with the Twitter Spaces, they keep it up
Yes.
for 30 days. Yeah, they keep it up for 30 days and then they rug pull it. So if you want it for
Yeah,
later,
but it's a different. Yeah, but it's a different group. It's not in our local community control.
oh, gotcha.
So because you missed the first hour of the second one, where like the first thing he says is, "Somebody please download that and hold on to it because I think because of the way that I showed those people up, they're gonna take it down quick."
What spaces did he join?
It was Matt Wallace, and I still see it up there on his Twitter page.
They lost the feed after an hour though, which was sad. I think maybe for some reason it was timed or something. There was a gentleman from China that started speaking at the very end, and then it went dark.
He asked him a question, and right when Richard was beginning to answer, the whole thing went dead.
Right.
So, Papa, I'm curious if you were able to finish the whole thing. I was listening last night, and to be honest, after that other guy got TA Tangent or whatever his name is, when he got on there, and then the topic just became like crypto, like I fucking fell asleep. So I'm just wondering, like, if any points, if you did catch the whole thing.
Yeah, I did. I'm just like all the nice, I've been so starved for his content that I'll be listening to the entire thing again tomorrow, I'm sure. But yes, I did listen to the whole thing. I thought it was cathartic. I thought that it was just a time for everybody to vent and ask their questions. Of course, when Richard's on there, nobody out of our community says, "What the fuck you been doing, man? Where's my pulse chain? Come on, it's my pulse chain." No, nobody had balls to say that, but instead they asked very good questions and cornered Richard on wanted some direct answers, and he gave them, and it's great. He explained a lot of things and talked about a lot of things he sees in the market, not just in crypto, and how it has to do with the launching of Pulse Chain. If you read between the lines, it was all related. It was great. Thought it was excellent.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I guess I'm gonna be listening to the whole thing again later today. I guess I just wanted to know how long did that TA Tangent, whatever his name in, like stay on for? Was it him the whole rest of the talk?
No, no, no. It was like Profex. If memory serves, it was like the last hour.
Okay, yeah, because I thought it was going pretty good. People were jumping in after asking different questions, and then this guy jumped on there, and I was like, oh man, like I'm pretty sure all
Yeah,
the other
he was.
people were pissed off.
Nah, look, Richard stopped everything and gave. I think he waved the flag of "I'm interested," and if I'm interested, I'm going to engage, and I'll give this guy some time twice. One was with Tangent, and the other was with a guy who had liquidated a whole bunch of real estate, and his 80-year-old mother told him to sink a lot of that into crypto. And Richard was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like the first time you must have like super mega genius genes in your family that your 80-year-old mother told you to get into crypto." And the one thing that I was a little bit perturbed about was you have this guy who's like gung ho to get into crypto for the first time. He's pointing to Hex. He's really excited to be part of the community. $400,000. He's already moved $40,000 into Gemini, and he's intending to get it into Hex. Wants to ask Richard what the best way to maximize for the launch of Pulsechain would be if only Hex exists today. But no one in the fucking chat told the guy, dude, sounds like you got your shit wired tight. Have you got a hardware wallet?
Wow.
If any of you mutts are in that chat again and I catch anybody not saying, oh, I heard that you're moving in $400,000 into crypto, and you guys don't say, it's great. Let me just ask you a quick question. Got a hardware wallet? You've got that sussed? If so, great. Just wanted to ask you because we don't want you to get rinsed for 400 grand worth of crypto to be dumped on our heads. Thank you very much.
Did catch
Please
that
do
part.
that, guys.
I did catch
Yeah,
that,
I
and
did.
I was wondering similar. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's gonna throw in 400,000, but nobody's talking to him about security. He's talking about how he's new and his grandma
Yep.
told him to do it. I was just like, somebody needs to
Yep.
like get on him, you know?
Dude, did you notice that like right away somebody under their breath, I forgot who it was. It could have been a trusted community member, but it may very well not have been. Says, "Hey man, I'll DM you and tell you about all this stuff."
Yeah, man. And I was just like, no way, somebody needs to help this guy.
Yeah, well, look, I wasn't there. I didn't have my hand right. I was there. I was like half asleep, but I didn't. I didn't have the ability to get my hand raised in time. But I was just like, certainly someone has to say, number one, bro, you should not be dropping that you've got $400,000 of liquid assets to throw into the fricking ecosystem on this public chat. Number two, you got a hardware wallet? Please say fucking yes. If not, get to these two places. Thanks. If you need more help, we'll help you out. But we don't want somebody like 400 grand.
I guess his Twitter
Whatever.
handle is in there. You can just drop a link.
Yeah, and instantly says Papa Boner. Sounds like a scammer.
That's funny. Yeah, you know what was funny to me? How he was trying to ask buying questions. I don't remember which one of the, it might have been one of the hosts was trying to just like, trying to get him to hurry the fuck up and shit. But then Richard's like, hold the fuck on. Like, this guy's asking a fucking important question and you motherfuckers are like, shut the fuck up. Like, I thought it was pretty cool, man, because it can get like that in the Twitter spaces. You know what I mean? I've jumped into Twitter spaces before and, somebody else new jumps in, with a question and it's just like, fuck you, hex, 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 hex. Like, that's all they want to say, shit.
Oh yeah, I loved Richard's response. He did mention this is the most important question, you fuckers. So shut up. How do I on ramp? How do I buy this stuff? Most important question. And by the way, Richard today was like his old self. It was great to hear him just riffing and flowing and f-bombing like old Richard. It was harkened back to 2 years ago type of Richard.
It's pretty cool. Like I hope people took the opportunity to like jump on or will take the opportunity to listen to that recording because a lot of people are like pissed off and shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Richard shouldn't be doing this and he should be doing that and da 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 da. Like people are trying to control another man, and I think that they're just taking it from because of what they see him posting lately. All this rage marketing. But then when you actually hear the guy and you hear like words, and I guess you get to know him more instead of just portraying a certain image and rallying up behind the whole community of like he shouldn't be doing this. I think it's a good opportunity because, like, you're right. It was good to hear Richard talk and see like his old self.
If there was ever a leader, if there's ever a founder that was more high profile and more giving laying down the evidence that he is busy and all the stuff is falling into place and we're just waiting for the next step. If there was ever any question, ever any doubt I'm sure that doubt was dispelled by just simply listening to this audio. Very down to earth and very matter of fact. All the rumors, all the FUD just goes away when Richard fucking makes himself available. That's all.
Plus, he was getting praised with his outrage marketing, and he was saying, "Yeah, I know it works. Once it doesn't work anymore, I'll stop doing it or something." Your 80-year-old grandma told you, "Hey, you should start investing into crypto." Like,
It was his
what?
mom. Yeah, she's up there.
Even Richard was like, "Wow, dude, wow."
That 80-year-old mother thing sounds a little bit like a troll.
I don't think so. My parents are up there. The fact that his story is that she directed him to crypto, that's the question mark. But it sounded 100% legit. Now, if he would have said, "I like drones," I would have said that's a troll.
I don't know. I would have liked some more tough questions being answered, though. I mean, I paid attention for a good half of it, and I don't know. I mean, there was a lack of depth of questions, if that makes sense. Like the questions were good, but uh, you know, we're still on the unknown. There's a lot of unknown.
Like which
What's
one?
on your mind? Well, what's on your mind?
I don't know. I've heard some guys, not wonder what's gonna be, you know, uh, like liquidity pools over there and swapping stuff. Like, there was no. There's still a lot of questions needing to be answered. I don't know how to ask them, but I know it's not like one route in Pulse ecosystem, Pulse chain, excuse me. But I did like it when he said something about the interoperability. If I'm making sense here, that he only wants it going one way, and that's to Pulse chain, and then yeah.
Papa, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, hang on, my speaker's off. I didn't interrupt anybody, did I? I turned my speaker off.
No.
So your preferred safest brands are Apple, Asus, Fujitsu, HP, LG, Panasonic, and Samsung, from what I've seen in the video.
You got it.
Do you have a favorite out of any of those?
HP is my personal preference.
Ah, that's what Mr. Jig said. He was right. Honestly,
I'm not paid to say that, by the way.
I know, man. Fortunately, when I bought my laptop for my crypto stuff, it was an HP. I forgot what operating system it had though, because I got Linux on it now. A lot of these HPs I'm looking at on Newegg, they have Chromebook on them.
No Chromebooks. No Chromebooks.
Even
Full-fledged
if
operating
I
system.
even
if
if I
you
change
wipe
the
it and
operating
put
system,
Linux, I don't think you'll be able to get the best bang for your buck. Might as well get a fully fledged laptop with Windows or iOS or whatever. For the Windows machine, wipe it out and get your Linux on there. If you're Linux savvy, then you're good to go. But I wouldn't use a Chromebook. No, lower specs. Bad news to use that, and it's not going to work as well as. I mean, the difference in cost is negligible. Get yourself a fully fledged one with better I/O, better ports, better drivers for those ports, all sorts of stuff that's going to scale up better for you. Even if you want to revert back to Windows, you have that ability to do so.
yeah, I may or may not put Linux on it. So this laptop I'm getting, it's just for convenience, for reading, for taking notes, just having a portable like electronic notebook basically. I just asked what the best brands are because I know you knew good secure ones, and I wanted to know what they are. One and two. Even though I don't need much security on this laptop, I would rather support those companies that give me better security and privacy. You know.
Oh yeah, well they don't give you. Oh, I mean, look, what we explored in that video, what were the companies that give you privacy and security from the Chinese military and state, which is something you have to worry about. A lot of manufacturers they take none of the liability of protecting you from a hardware manufacturing standpoint. So these companies do, because they do not source from China. The components that we're talking about, they do injection molding for the casings in China.
Right. Yeah, I remember hearing you mention that. That's why they say made in China, but that's just because of the plastic they use.
Right, the plastic, which constitutes all the outer visible surface area, which then constitutes some kind of law regulation that you have to say that if it comes back in that portion from China, blah blah blah. So, but rest assured, those companies, if you were to call them up and say, "Look, I'm worried about this. Can you tell me why I should figure that your company would be a better company to answer that concern that I have about China and cryptography being registered there for anything that is it is crypto signed or incorporates any kind of cryptography has to actually have the crypto keys registered with the Chinese state and government, or state and military, I should say. Why should I trust your manufacturing above, let's say, Dell? And I'll bet you that they would love to tell you why. And the answer is, we don't source this component there, this component there, this component there. We've got the injection molding, and even that has all of our people from our corporate looking at the way it's manufactured. And by the way, all these guys have a lot to lose if they screw you over. I mean, think about it. A lot of these manufacturers have taken up all the contracts that were replacing all the server farms that had to be ripped out of the DoD and the DOJ and any other branches of the government where they had all those Chinese components. And they don't want to get their contracts canceled.
So a Chromebook, it's not just an operating system, but it's a type of laptop too.
It's, yeah, consider it a Chromebook is effectively, I would classify it as a glorified tablet.
I've used one. I think they suck. I think glorified's giving them extra credit.
Right on.
But no, I agree with what you're saying. But yeah, I was dating this girl that she didn't know anything about computers, and she just bought whatever she saw, and it was a Chromebook, and I didn't even know what Chromebook was, and man, that thing freaking sucked.
Yep, you can't use it for much, including a hardware wallet. And even if you do put Linux on it, usually you have limited I/O, so the ports are shit. So I would really recommend anyone. I mean, a laptop nowadays, a great one could be like $500. Why would you spend like $300 for a Chromebook?
So if you don't mind, I'd like to send you the link of the one I'm looking at, and if you would tell me if it's a decent deal or not, if you don't mind. If not, I understand.
Well, don't send me a link, but just why don't you tell me the spec and the
Oh,
price?
okay. Samsung XE500 C12-K01US Intel Celeron N2840 times 2 X2, whatever you are, 2.16 gigahertz, 2 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte SSD, 11.6 inch screen.
I think
$100.
too low. I think it's too low spec. I wouldn't go 2 gig, and I wouldn't go for Celeron with that low spec.
Well,
a little bit more.
again, this is I got my crypto laptop. I'm just trying to find a decent little laptop to record notes, maybe watch a video somewhere. I don't know.
All right, but I mean, with 2 gigs, it's gonna putt. What's the operating system that it's running? Windows 11? It can't for 2 gigs.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't say, or I can't see it.
Yeah, look, I'd also as a qualifying feature, I would say has to have the ability to upgrade to Windows 11 or have Windows 11 already loaded.
Did I hear 16 gig hard drive, 16 gig SSD?
Yes, you did. It can't take updates.
Can't take an OS. I don't.
Well, that's pretty weird because the crypto laptop I got, it's I think it was even lower scale than this computer that I just named, and it's got the latest version of Linux and does everything I need it to do. And I think it came with I don't know. It's got a Windows 7 sticker on it. I forgot what this had.
Windows 7 sticker? Yeah, that's yeah. So, okay. Is there hidden somewhere that we didn't hear from you some additional hard drive rather than the solid state drive? Was there also a hard drive listed? Because yeah, 16 gig, I don't think you could do much with that nowadays.
I mean, I can't remember how big Windows 7 is, but at least 2 or 3 times that size.
I think so. You could. I mean, there used to be an older spec where they would put a low-end SSD in there just to run the OS, but yeah, it can't even fit it for 16. Low end, remember Profex, remember when they used to they started introducing SSDs with laptops that already had a lower cost hard drive, like they'd put in a 120 gig hard drive or even a 1 terabyte hard drive, then they'd give you a shitty little SSD to boot from.
Yeah, the hybrid model.
Yeah.
I don't even know if
Spiffy. Yeah. Is this thing new? Are you looking at new laptops or refurbished like old ones off of eBay?
No, I'm on Newegg. It's refurbished, and the crypto laptop that I got now was refurbished too.
I think you got to watch out when you're looking at some of these specs online, like especially like Newegg, because they'll sell you laptops that are like 10 years old, right? That are refurbished.
No, yeah, no, definitely. I'm pretty sure this laptop I own now for my crypto stuff is freaking ancient, but it works great. And honestly, everything loads like just as fast as it does on my my kick-ass gaming laptop that I built.
Yeah, but if it's got a Windows 7 sticker and it's only running Windows 7, is that what you're saying?
No, I put Linux Mint on it. It's got Linux Mint now. I don't know what it had on it. It's got a Windows 7 sticker on it.
Yeah, if it's got a Windows 7 sticker, then you were trying to use that as your window as your crypto laptop originally, then that would be stupid because Windows 7 is not getting any security updates anymore. It's done.
Well, yeah, then the Linux Mint's on it, so that's good, right?
Yeah, but I'd sure like to see you with a little bit newer hardware, but I guess.
Oh, so the old hardware has a risk of being like compromised and hacked, I guess.
Well, no, but I mean, look, is it an old laptop where it actually has the battery is detachable from the unit?
Yes.
That thing is like, yeah, that thing's like 10 years old.
No, for sure it is. It's got a Intel Core i3.
And sorry, just to comment that Windows is safe if you know what you are doing, because if you don't know what you are doing, it can be as or even more dangerous than Windows.
Also, by the way, if anyone in here has got questions about Pulse, please feel free to jump in because I'm very off subject here.
Yeah, I mean, so with the processor, I think it depends what generation will tell you more rather than just i3, right? Because they still have I think they still have i3s now, and they've had i7s for probably a decade, right? So just saying i7 or i3 doesn't really tell you too much. It kind of tells you what class, but it could be like a 10-year span, right?
Well,
So
it should say what generation, right?
yeah.
So, just to clarify, there's no problem with me having my caveman laptop HP with Linux Mint to do my crypto stuff, right?
Nuno just said something. If you don't know how to wield the operating system, even if it's Linux, if you're just using a plain vanilla Linux, you're not actually handling the stuff that you need to do. And remember, with Linux, you have to do your manual type of upgrades and updates. If you're not willing to do that or don't know how, it could be more dangerous than running an up-to-date Windows operating system without the knowledge that you need to wield it. That was what Nuno said, and it didn't sound like that registered with you. So, Nuno, can you please give him a little bit more insight as to why that is so?
No, It registered. Okay, so I heard what he said, but no, it didn't register. But then you repeated what he said, and I'm like, oh, I did hear him say that, and that does make sense. But yeah, if you want to explain more in depth, Nuno, yeah, feel free to.
Just because Linux, it's powerful, right? And it's like this thing from Spider-Man: with great power comes great responsibility. And in Windows, when you make a mistake, if you do delete or if you do install, it will ask you to install Linux. Depending on whatever you want to install, there is a bunch of APKs and RPMs, whatever, that you may click on it, and all of a sudden you are exposed to the old wide world, just like that. So you really need to be careful what you do in there, because the consequences of doing something wrong, it's not like Windows. Windows or Linux most likely will not ask you for confirmation to just do whatever. So if you get a software that you downloaded from anywhere, you click on it and it's done. It's good. It's done. Whatever malware you did it's active now. There is no, or there may not be confirmation. There is no securities behind it. So it's because you control the OS most of the times.
Gotcha. Yeah, I apologize. I heard you the first time, but no, it didn't really register because I'm like looking at other things and trying to listen at the same time. But I understand you 100%. And now I feel ignorant, and
But no,
I need
Linux is
to.
very. Linux is it's one of the safest things that you can put in there. You just need to make sure that you follow the rules and you do what you are supposed to do, and you don't invent anything on it. If you don't know,
No,
of course.
I don't. So some of you might know Adrian in here. He's in here a lot. I don't know if he's in here now. I don't think he is. He's from Romania. He helped me set it up because there was a lot of confusing stuff, and so he helped me to set it up. And I do not have anything else on here. The only thing that I do on my crypto laptop is my Trezors, and then I get on the internet to get on DeFi exchanges. That is all I do on this laptop.
Most likely, I don't know anyone face to face. I never met him, but from what we hear, it seems to be a very nice guy, a very knowledgeable guy. And if you follow his advice, most likely you are safe.
But Spiffy, regardless of anyone that we think is knowledgeable in this chat, you're still using your hardware wallet.
Meaning better safe than sorry, and I should know what I'm doing instead of being dependent on someone else to show me how to do it?
Meaning, I don't care who you are, it could be anybody on this chat. If they help you to set it up, your last line of defense is always your damn hardware wallet and your seeds that only you know. There is a Linux distribution of the Trezor Suite and Bridge, and you should be using that on that laptop. If you aren't, then there's a problem.
Yeah, the Linux, or I'm sorry, the Trezor software. You go to the Trezor website and then you download the software for Linux, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did that. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to connect it to. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have been able to connect it to my MetaMask, right?
You could have. If you did connect it up with your MetaMask, then yeah, you've got everything up and running. Or you set it up in Windows, and then you could carry it over and just connect it up with the Linux distribution of MetaMask and the Trezor Suite. Sure, you could.
I think we're confusing him a little bit too much. I think he's probably
No. I understand. I know it may not seem like it, but no, I get it.
Yeah, just use your hardware wallet. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Just make sure you use a hardware wallet. That's like 99% of the risk factor. It gets eliminated that way. As for Linux, it is becoming more of a target. So you may want to just do a little bit of research on the side, to make sure that if there's any vulnerabilities that you have it patched or you're not using it. From a standard install, you may or may not be susceptible. It might come in other packages that you have to install that might make you susceptible, right? Or it might just come with the base install, right? So I would go and do a little bit of Googling on that, or DuckDuckGoing, I should say, on that topic, because there was a vulnerability, I remember, not too long ago. So you just want to kind of double check that, I would say, from time to time. And obviously keep up with Adrian if and there's a few other people in chat that are using Linux, and I'm sure if you're on enough or whatever, that you'll probably hear it. But you can always ask Adrian, hey, is there any updates that I should be running? That sort of thing would be a good way of dealing with it, in addition to you doing your own research. But there's going to be more attack vectors, but if you've got the base install, chances are you're probably pretty good. You don't have any extra software running that's going to add any vulnerabilities. But yeah, you want to do your due diligence either way.
Understood. I'm sitting here thinking, when I look at a 16 gigabyte hard drive, I can't, sit and realize how old of a tech that is. And it makes me sit here and think, how the heck did I build this PC that I have and not understand none of these parts? Like I just mentioned that it was 16 gigabytes and you guys were like, holy crap, that's old. And I'm like, it is?
Because 16 gigabytes hard drive, if it is not an SSD, it's hard drive, it's most likely 120 years old, something like this. I remember when I had a kid, I had a 2048 megabytes, so that doesn't exist anymore at all.
I bought a IBM Desk Star, or Death Star as they called it, 18 gig. I opted for the double the space. Came in a 9.1 and 18.2 gig version. That was probably around the year 2000 ish, maybe a little bit. 98.
20 years ago, exactly. Yeah.
I bought an Atari 2600, and it had 2K.
48K Spectrum.
Yeah, so like you can run Linux, and I think there might even be, maybe not. You can run Linux on very small installs, right? Like on your router, I think it's in megs. So depending on what you're putting onto it, right? Like if you're putting the graphical interface, which Mint will have, right? Then you're adding more space, right? It's going to take up more space to do it. But the core Linux operating system is very small, very efficient, for the most part. I haven't touched Linux in 20 years, right? So I'm probably not the best person to talk about it. But I mean, you can put it on a router with like 16 megs of RAM, right? Without a user interface or without a graphical user interface. And that's fine. So it can run with Linux. Linux is going to be your most efficient operating system to run on that hardware, I would say. But yeah, you might want to double check if you're going to buy the next computer. Figure out what year it was made in, or at least figure out what generation of CPU it was, right? Because like we were saying before, the i7s, i5s, i3s, they've got like 10 generations now, right? So it's probably spans more than 10 years. So just saying that you have an i3 or i5 or whatever doesn't really tell you the full story. You want to figure out what generation that is, and make sure that you're not like too far back.
Well, if you guys are curious about it, I got the laptop in front of me. I can boot it up right now and tell you everything if you guys really want to know.
think you could just plug in the model number into Google and hit enter, and then it'll give you the raw specs. You can find out what that i3, what that generation of the i3 is.
Or just go Google it and look for a year, right, that was released. You should be able to find that. So I don't look at hardware unless I'm buying a new PC. So just telling the specs of the CPU, I might not know, unless I bought that or was looking at CPUs at the same time. I might not know when that was.
(2010) Intel Core i3. It's only 12 years old. I know, that's a lot. That's a lot compared for it being tech. Tech ages very fast. It becomes obsolete.
So,
It's
I mean,
only
you
16
can put the
gigabits.
operating system on there. You can put the operating system on there, and as long as it works, you're okay. We're telling you it's a little limited. You might not be able to do too much with it. But as long as you don't install it, I guess, any more software, maybe it's okay. But one of the benefits that you should, be happy with is that's almost like pre-crypto. So you can be pretty sure that there's no hardware issues, no hardware attack vectors necessarily with that were designed into it.
Right. Yep, that makes sense. Well, it was refurbished, so I guess someone could have put something weird in it. I doubt that though, because if that was the case, I would have probably been robbed already. So that laptop I mentioned that I was looking at, the 16 gigabyte, you guys think that that's too old, too slow to? Oh, speak of the devil, there's Adrian. You guys think that 16 gigabyte laptop that I'm looking at is going to be like too slow to run like YouTube videos or something?
Are you really sure it's 16 gigabytes of disk? So that's kind of a tricky thing here. Disk. The other thing is memory. If it is disk, it's almost inconceivable nowadays. You cannot even put 2 movies in it with the, or not even one if you put the OS in there, most likely.
Hey guys, can you repeat the question?
Oh, so the reason why I said speak of the devil when I brought up your name is because I'm looking at a new laptop, just wanted to take notes and stuff on. And if you remember, I bought a cheap little laptop that I put Linux on, and then you helped me set it up. And I was, I don't know much. You guys know. So I was talking about it, and Nuno here was mentioning that I could have a higher risk of. I could have higher risk and more issues if I don't know how to use Linux properly, and I'd be better off using Windows. And I was like, well, I don't do much on it. And then if you guys know Adrian, he helped me set it up. And that's why I brought up your name and was like, hey, speak of the devil, you're here, yada, yada, yada. It's good to see you, by the way.
Thank you. So the previous statement is false. Even if you know nothing, you cannot do too much on Linux because you need to use the admin key for anything. So you firstly need something compatible with Linux Mint and then use the admin key. So you have 2 layers there where it's hard to mess up.
Adrian, I believe what you're saying, but that's exactly the point, because if you don't know Linux and if you try to install something on it, you actually have to use the admin key. So I assume that the root user that you are minting, right? And if you don't know, if you try to install things you don't know, you may have a danger that. That's why I didn't say that Linux or Windows was better than Linux. I just said that you need to be careful when you are using Linux, because you need to know what you are doing. Because for normal day, if you don't install anything, it's true.
99% of the malware is made for Windows, and if you use your Linux just to do your crypto, you will never get to the point where you can click on something which is malign, because you're just using the apps that are already installed through the App Store in Linux, and that's it. I mean, you don't do anything else. You don't click on random files received from other people or whatever.
Exactly. And that's exactly my point. If you know how to use it.
Right. And I don't know how to use Linux, but my Linux laptop is just used for DeFi websites and my Trezor. That is it.
You should be fine.
So the other discussion that we were having were the specs were very low, and then we found out that it was from 2010, right? 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gig hard drive or SSD.
No, hold on. So the crypto laptop which I own now with Linux on it is the 10-year-old Core i3, yes. But the 16 gigabyte hard drive, that's a laptop I was looking at because I wanted to get another one to take notes and like watch videos. Like if I'm working on my vehicle outside, I like to have a laptop, to play videos on how to like change a part and stuff like that. Or if I'm trying to cook up a recipe, it's nice to have something in the kitchen there to glance over and watch the video. So I figured I could just get another cheap laptop to do those things. I'm not trying to game on it or download anything. I just want something to take notes and to read and study with. But
Okay.
again, the
those 16 gigabytes are of RAM, not of hard disk. I don't think there is any laptop on the market right now with a 16 gigabytes hard disk at all.
it says 16 gigabyte solid state drive.
Wow. That's very, very, very uncommon.
Yeah, he's looking it up on Newegg, so he's getting some old refurbished laptops that they have in stock for quite some time, probably, or whatever. So yeah, it was just that kind of got our attention a little bit because it's very uncommon, like you would say.
Yeah, if you want to watch YouTube videos, you need like an i7 and with a good video card, but you don't need to more than 16 gigabytes of RAM.
I would say an i5 is what you want to look at, probably. That's newer, right? An i3 is just weak. An i7 is, it's more powerful. You don't need it necessarily. It's more for if you're going to do work on it for real. Something like an i5 would be common, common use. But you want to get something that has like at minimum 8 gigs of RAM. Probably 16 is more ideal. Not 6 gig hard drive space.
Yeah, just if you are just using it for videos and for these small things, did you consider getting, and if to work outside on your car, did you consider getting a tablet? Maybe it's the best use for you, and most likely cheaper.
I wanted a laptop so because I could like fold up the screen nice and I can take notes. So I do a lot of brewing. I make a lot of wine and stuff, and I'd like to be able to. I know I can do that on the tablet, but it's I don't know, just a laptop just seems more comfortable to me. I can fold the screen up, set it up nicely. I don't have to, figure out how to prop the tablet up, stuff like that.
Get the Surface Pro.
I'm also curious what the hard drive size is on the crypto laptop I own. I just booted it up. I'm going to look into it.
Hey, Adrian, did you catch the Twitter space with Richard last night?
No. I was at the mountainside.
Yeah, so there's 2 or 3 video or sounds, whatever. There's 2 or 3 streams that he did, or Twitter spaces that he did last night. The last one was with the Hex Orca, and then the first 2 were with some other people. I think Papa can fill you in on those, or you can just go look them up and try to find them.
There is a link or something, a recording of it.
There's got to be some in chat, but let me go check.
Thank you.
So a solid state drive and a hard disk is the same thing, correct?
It's the same memory, but they're very different technologies.
Okay. Well, if I'm looking at this right, it says my hard drive is a 320 gigabyte, and the one I'm looking at on the internet now is 16 gigabyte, which is weird because I think I paid $75 for the laptop that I have here on my desk for crypto, and then the one with the 16 gigabyte is $100. So that's weird that it costs more. I mean, I guess it's all different.
In my count,
Get in the train, boys! It's leaving the station! Toot toot!
oh, Top Cat. Tell me, Top Cat, what's the news? I was offline in the last few days.
Oh, me neither. I've been in the brothel with the guys, so I'm not coming here so often now because I attend the brothel with all prostitutes that left this channel, so I am there with them in the brothel, listening them, creating new shit coins and new scams, and they are all pumped up, excited.
In other words, you're wrecked.
About it. What? Wrecked? I'm not wrecked. How wrecked?
Top Cat is #1 pulse whale.
Hey, Top Cat, same question to you. Did you hear the Twitter spaces with Richard last night?
Say again?
Did you catch the 2 or 3 Twitter spaces with Richard last night?
Man, every time I see a Richard Twitter is him saying that if you bought Bitcoin on 2021, you are now wrecked by, I don't know, something. You are wrecked if you bought Bitcoin. I always get these feeds. He permanently do it. So
He was doing a Twitter spaces, so he was doing live chat for 6 hours last night.
I
12
was
hours.
saying what?
I didn't catch the first 2 hours, I don't think.
Showing the Louis Vuitton and how rich he is and how he's the best person in crypto. Man, I'm tired. I'm bored to listen to the same shit all the time. I mean, it's like a broken tape recorder, like repeating all the time the same season. I'm the best man in crypto. I'm this. I'm that. If you bought Bitcoin in 2017, you are wrecked now. But man, I'm tired of him, man. Really, fuck it. Okay, he's the best man in crypto. Okay, fine with it. Don't have to listen it 100 times. Yeah, good. Tired. Fuck him. Fuck him.
I mean, this wasn't a live stream, right? This is just a Twitter space. So it's just people asking him questions, right? So it's a lot more the old Richard than the new one, right? So, and I don't know if you know Tangent, right? The Australian hexagon there. You know, he asked them about an hour-long session of, you know, basically Bitcoin versus Hex, you know, why Bitcoin is still relevant and that sort of thing. So I don't know if you still hold any of your Bitcoin. I can't remember. But I don't know. Maybe that might be of some interest to you. But basically, you know, Richard said that Bitcoin sucks. So
if it sucks for him, don't buy it. Well, why is he has a problem with Bitcoin? Bitcoin doesn't have a. He cannot look. He cannot find Satoshi, as opposed to him, which everybody knows who developed X. He's there. He's the face, right? He has a problem with Satoshi, but he's the most. He can't realize how stupid he is because Satoshi is either dead or disappeared or gone. So he's like this kind of crazy guys arguing in a monologue because the other guy is not there to answer him. So you can see how stupid this guy can go. Man, Satoshi isn't here to reply to him. So what the fuck you want, man? Why don't he just shut the fuck up? And even if Satoshi was here, he would ignore him. Because that's what we do to silly people. We ignore silly people. We don't reply. So that's exactly what Satoshi thinks if by chance he's alive, listening all the crap that Richard says.
Hey, so you guys were saying Newegg's not a very good website to get computers off of. What would you guys recommend?
I mean, they're good, but you just have to watch out what you're getting because they're going to have an old stock in there, right? So you may want to research a computer first. I know it's hard. You know, you might want to try to find a computer first and then go look up and find a price. Yeah, I mean, obviously Amazon's an option to check, but they'll run into the same issue where they might sell old stuff. I'm trying to think. Micro Center. Do you got a Micro Center near you? Because that place is great.
I might. I can Google it.
Yeah, see if you have a Micro Center near you because they have usually, you know, pretty good prices on things. You can find something on sale and it's, you know, usually much better. But they don't. I don't believe they deliver, so you have to find a location near you. But they're in pretty much, you know, the 50 continental states or whatever, more or less.
About Microsoft computers.
I mean, they're, God, I can't remember the name of it. We just mentioned it like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, they're okay. They're pretty good, you know, for certain things.
Yeah, my buddy bought it for $3,500 for his computer. A laptop.
Yeah, the Surface Pro, where you know, it's pretty decent. And actually, up until 2017-18, it was manufactured in the US. And then after that, who knows? But the Surfaces are pretty good, but they might be a little bit more expensive than what most people are looking for. It depends. you know, there's cheap versions and there's expensive versions. So you just have to watch what you're looking at too, right?
When you carrying?
I got a desktop still. Yeah, I don't have a laptop except for my work laptop, which is an HP, which is nice, but it's for work, right? I didn't buy it, work did.
Yeah, I got my computer. Well, my mom's got her computer, but I'm using hers. But I got everything done at the Squad Geek, you know, the Best Buy, because you're from Canada, right? So.
Yep.
And so Squad Geek did the scan and, you know, make sure there's no viruses, stuff like that. And I asked the guy, is like, this should be good enough for a crypto kind of thing. He's like, oh, yeah, this is perfect. It's not I don't think it's an Acer. I forget which brand it is, but my mom's never used it for surfing porn or anything like that. It was mainly business stuff with my dad for his counting and stuff, but that was it. Nothing more than that. So until he passed away. So.
Still load a new OS, clean, fresh OS on it. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you reloaded a new OS, then it should be fine.
And use your hardware wallet, of course.
Yes, of course.
Nearest micro center for me is an hour away.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, check out their website, see if they have anything on sale or anything decent. I don't think they're holding stock from 10 years ago, right? Anything that they have would be relevant, right? Released in the last year, at least. So if you find a good price on something there, that's probably a good option. And then you don't have to even, I mean, you don't even have to buy from them, right? You can just go look up that laptop then on Amazon or on Newegg and see if they have the same one there, right? And which one's cheaper, and if it is it really worth the hour drive, right? You know, maybe not. Cool store though.